All right. So thank you guys so much for being on tonight. I know we've got a lot of stuff going on. We have baseball game going on in the other room. There is This Is Us is on tonight, but like I always say, you can always DVR those kinds of things and watch them right after this or something like that. So I'm going to try to keep this short. I do have, though, a decent amount of announcements just because I feel like Beachbody as a whole has a lot of stuff going on and a lot of things coming up. So I want to hit on those so that you guys are fully aware of everything going on. So I see a lot of you guys popping on. Make sure that you mute yourself whenever you hop on. And if not, I can mute for you. But a couple of announcements. One of those is if you are not registered for November to Remember, I highly recommend you getting registered. It is the only way that you're going to be able to earn a Success Club prize, I guess, if you will. And they are these fancy little hats. So I don't know if you're a hat person, but they're kind of cute. But basically what November to Remember is you partner up with one other coach. They can be on our team. They don't have to be on our team. So if you have coach friends that are not at all on our team, that's totally fine. You can partner up with them. But basically what you get is if you hit Success Club 5, there's like an individual prize, and that's the hat. But you can also, with your partner, kind of compete against other teams in the region to earn the chance of you guys splitting $2,000. So it'd be $1,000 each. So that's kind of cool. I know the top winners get to donate like a big chunk of money to a charity of their choice, which is pretty awesome. But this is the first time that Beachbody's ever done like a regional competition. They always do like a company-wide competition. Like they had one in August. And let's just face it, Canada always wins. So I think that's why they started doing these regional ones, but it'll be kind of fun. If nothing else, you get to work together for 1 month with another coach. And there's something about having that other person to kind of check in with, push with each other, brainstorm, that just makes coaching a little bit more fun. I swear I have like 5 success partners, because if you want to talk to me about what you're doing, like let's talk. Like I love that community feel. So if you need help getting registered, let me know. It's a simple little link. You do need your partner's email and their coach ID. But next thing, Double Time, it's coming out October 31st, I think is what I saw, or at least the challenge packs are on sale for the 31st. That is a 2-person workout program. So it's kind of cool. First time the Beachbody's ever done that. So look into that. I know it's very geared towards families working out together. Then something I'm pretty excited about, A Little Obsessed, if you have BOD, you've probably seen that pop up as a program. That is November 6th through the 10th. You can work out live with Autumn and her team at 9:30 Pacific Standard Time. I don't know what that is. I think is it 7:30 our time? I think so. I forget. Whatever. But if you can't work out with them live, that will be available for 24 hours. And then those will be released sometime in December, like that you can have access to those A Little Obsessed workouts. The next thing I wanted to talk about is Diamond Bonus, just to constantly be putting that in your forefront. What that is that you have an opportunity to get a bonus for $250. What you would need to do is the basics are hit Success Club in October, November, and December. So all you have to do is Success Club 5, so help 3 women each of those months, or men, doesn't have to be women. And then you would have to hit Diamond at the latest November 22nd and hold it for 6 weeks. You can hit it before November 22nd, but you would have to hold it for 6 weeks at some point in time through the end of the year, basically. So you'd have to hold that. But that first week, am I right, Elena? That first week you hit a Diamond counts as one of your weeks, from what I was trying to figure out. Okay. I always counted it from that next Thursday, but it's that Thursday you hit it, that counts as week 1. Then 2, you have to hold it for 6 consecutive weeks. But an awesome little bonus. Definitely something that's brand new. They may have it next year. They may not. So right now is the time to do it if that's something that is on your goals for this year. Okay, I do want to kind of open it up before I start talking. If anybody's having any kind of clean week successes, if you've tried clean week, just kind of talk for those that maybe haven't experienced it yet. What are some things you are liking about it? Do you have any successes of anybody that's done clean week so far? So I kind of want to open it up, take yourself off mute, and share an experience with it if you've done it or started it or whatever it might be that you're kind of going through. So does anybody have any connections with it? Emily, I'm going to call you out because I know for sure you're doing it. I know Elena is doing it this week.
So I actually kind of like it. I've been following the advanced one, and yeah, I got a pretty good sweat on today, so it was a good workout. So I know the two of my girls have texted me today and said that their legs are super sore, so I think they're enjoying it as well.
Yeah, I was shocked with the core, with the amount of balance that you could put in it. You didn't have to put it in there, but you could add it in, and that was really cool. So I think it does give a good range within the workouts, which is cool. Okay, any other connections or thoughts on it so far? Okay, I will say I have done the eating plan to a T so far, and I am obsessed with the recipes. They're good and they're so easy to make. They don't take any time. And I literally made dinner last night, made dinner tonight, and Zach was like, I could make these meals. And if he is saying that he could make them, like, I think anybody could make them. So I think it's something awesome to start people with. But also, if you have people that are kind of starting in your challenge groups that are super timid, start week 1 in clean week and then transition them into another program. Because I think it's a really basics. It doesn't get into portion control. It doesn't get into that kind of stuff. And so that makes it a lot more simple and manageable, and it's all right there for them. So I've been really impressed with it. Okay, any other thoughts on clean week? All right, we are quiet tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in. And I'm hoping that what I talk about tonight can apply to someone that's a brand new coach, because I see that we have some, like Demi's on, and I know you're kind of brand new and starting out. And we've got Emily that's kind of brand new this month. And so we've got some new coaches, but also some coaches who are starting to bring people in that they get to mentor themselves. And so I know whenever you were maybe going through this as a new coach, it was possibly overwhelming. And so thinking about, okay, what did my coach tell me to do so that I can do this for other people, maybe wasn't on your forefront when you were starting coaching. So I wanted to go through this. One thing that I try to tell coaches that are brand new is it is totally okay. It is expected for you to be overwhelmed. And if you are not overwhelmed, you're probably not working the business, and you're probably not learning and growing. Like, you are learning how to run a business. Some people go to college for 4 years to get a degree in business to do what some of you all are doing. But you're not only running a business, you're doing the marketing, the advertising, and the customer service for this business. So keep that in mind. And so I think if you let coaches know, it's okay that you're overwhelmed. It's not okay to just be overwhelmed and shut down and not talk to me about you being overwhelmed. It kind of takes that, like, oh my goodness, this is too much for me to handle and I have to do it all on my own. I try to get them to come to me and share about it. So I've got some slides to kind of keep me focused. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So I will say, though, some of these things I've definitely changed in the last couple of months. So if you have started in the last 3 months or so, some of this might look a little different or change a little bit. So my 3 big words whenever I am starting with new coaches, I focus on them taking action. Even if they are scared to death to take action, I encourage them to just jump in and get started on action. I will help them along the way, but to take action as quickly as possible as they can. Because I find that if my coaches see success, if they hit Success Club, or if they get someone started with a clean week, or they get someone started with a challenge pack, or if they connect someone with Beachbody On Demand, they're going to stick around for longer than someone who doesn't get that feeling of what it feels like to be a coach and help someone out in their first month. So my main goal is for them to see success in that very first month as a coach, but they have to take action to see success. Okay, the second thing is trying to build a relationship. I try to let them know, ask me questions, send me messages. I want to get to know you. And I'll talk about that here in a little bit. And then I try to keep it as simple as possible. So simplicity is my third word working with new coaches. Okay, so going through this in my first 24 hours doesn't always work out exactly like this. I always send a welcome email. And in this email, it has that I would like them to schedule a one-on-one call for me. Okay? And I have this email that I'm pretty sure I have shared it before. It's in one of our files. So if you want this email, I can definitely tag you in it, or I can share it for sure. But basically, I request that they schedule a one-on-one call. I want them to schedule it, though. I'm not going to hunt them out. I'm not going to be hounding them to schedule a call, because if they don't want to call with me, I probably don't want to do a call with them, because if they're like, I don't really have time for you, well, you know what? We all have really busy schedules also. And so I want them to feel comfortable to come to me and to do that. There are some exceptions to that I'll talk about here in a little bit. I send them a personality and goals questionnaire, and I will show you what that looks like here in a little bit. And that's a little link in the email. I talk about 4 simple actions that I want them to start taking as soon as they are ready to start taking them. And then I send some training videos. With the training videos, though, I say at the very bottom, like, these are not a must-do right now. I want you to fill out that questionnaire, and I want you to start acting, and I want to get on the call with you before you start inundating yourself with all of this information. So I feel like some coaches will get into this information overload, and they don't know what to do. And you want them to know what to do and kind of learn as they're going. Okay, so the next thing I try to do within the first day or 24 hours is add them to and introduce them to the team page. You all, I want you to introduce your coaches. Lisa did a great job. She introduced a new coach yesterday. If you have new coaches on our team that want to work the business, I don't introduce discount coaches. But if they're like interested in working the business, or at some point in time interested in working the business, I always introduce them to the team page. I ask them to send me a photo so that I make sure that I'm introducing them with a photo that they like of themselves. That's something new that I started. And I try to share a little bit about their life, about why they started coaching. Maybe if they've been in a challenge group, I might talk about their transformation and the great success. But I really try to build up why I think they're going to be a good coach, because I genuinely think that every person that signs up to me has the potential to be a coach. And if they don't, I probably would let them know that I'm not so sure this is the right fit for them. So I always try to add that in there of why they're going to be so awesome as a coach, because every coach is a little different and everybody brings something different. So that's the first 24 hours. Send that email, introduce them to the team page. It's the same email for every person, so I just copy and paste it over. Let me get to my next slide. So the next thing I wanted to show you guys, you may not be able to see this very closely, but this is just a little snapshot of the personality questionnaire. And I just talk about how excited I am for them to be on our tribe. I talk about how the most successful coaches start by taking action. You will see me say the word action probably 10 times in this call, because it is so, so important to do instead of overthinking. I said also that new coaches that are super successful ask many questions. And I will reiterate that to them all the time. If they start telling me they're sorry, they're asking questions, I say, that's okay. You know, those coaches that are on the top of our boards every single week for Success Club points, they like bombarded me with questions for the first 2-3 months. And then they didn't need to ask as many questions anymore because they got it figured out. And that's what I love. And I will answer your questions as long as I see that action matching up with the questions you're asking. I asked them about what their gym personality is, what their love language is, what makes them excited about coaching, what makes them fearful or nervous about coaching. Do they have any immediate goals? I feel like the goals one is really important, because if they have really big goals, I need to know that so that I can start getting them set up to move at a faster pace maybe than someone else might move. And then, would you like to be a part of a success pod? And this is just a group message thread with other new coaches. And I'll talk a little bit about the success pods here in a bit. Okay, next thing, the 4 actions. And I'm going to kind of hang out in this space just a little bit, because I think this right here, when I switched from just giving my coaches tons of information and lots of videos to watch to do these 4 actions. And if you do these 4 actions in your first month, you will see success. Many more coaches were seeing success and hitting Success Club and feeling like they were making a change and making a difference in the people they were helping. So the first thing, obviously, one of our vital behaviors is proof of the product. So I asked them to work on themselves. And then I kind of break that down. Like, what that means is begin a program. Even if your program, and I've been starting a lot of my coaches with Clean Week. So they are seeing results after 7 days. Like, how cool is that? I wish that there was a program when I got started. I started on Insanity Max, which is a 60-day program. Like, I had to wait 60 days to even see, to really feel like I could share my results. Granted, I didn't have to wait that long, but they can start a program, talk about that beginning part of a program, going through it, and then, I finished my first program and put it out there, their results in just 7 days. That's so cool. Drinking their Shaco, reading The Compound Effect. So I try to throw in some personal development that I want them to start working on also. I have them start thinking about their coming out post, or their I'm a coach kind of post. This is the one thing that a lot of them need help with. And so I usually have examples that they can look off of, but I also always ask them to send it to me before they post it, because I want to see, is their call to action solid? Is their post too long? Is it too short? Did they get a little bit deeper in their post? I was talking to one of my newer coaches, Allie, yesterday, I guess it was. And I was like, how do you feel like you've had so much success in your first month? And she said, honestly, it was my coming out post. And she said, I was super vulnerable in it. She goes, a lot of people didn't know that I suffered from IBS. And so she said, I was just real about the bloating and kind of some of the things that I go through. And she said, literally everybody has come to me because of that post. And because I was a little more vulnerable and honest in my post, people trusted me right away that I could help them also. So I thought that was really cool. My number 3 thing is that they begin getting into that habit of posting daily. Maybe it's just once a day, maybe it's twice a day, but I really want them to start getting in that habit of like, here's what I do in my days as I share either about my fitness or about my personal life or about the cute outfits I'm wearing or about my dog or whatever it is, but that they get in that habit of start posting and posting about their journey. And then I have them create a list of 20 people that they think would be awesome in our challenge group. I don't remember who it was, but I was on a call and they were talking about just simplifying this whole process of getting coaches started. And they said, you literally, all you need to do is say, hey, who's the first 3 people that we're going to help? Okay, we're going to contact those first 3 people. And I was like, that's so awesome. Like, it's so simple, but we overcomplicate it so much. And we give coaches so many things to look at and read and do and learn and write and all these things, when really they just need to reach out and help a couple of people, get that post out there and really just start talking to people and letting people know what they're doing. I know many of you guys have read the 10X rule, but he's very big on the reason you're not seeing success right now is because people don't know about you. And so he talks about like being omnipresent. And just a little side note, I was at a like networking type event, and this one girl who's a wedding photographer was like, oh my goodness, I follow you on Instagram stories. I know about this, and I know about this, and I know about this. And she's like, you post a lot. And I go, but when you're ready. And she started talking about like, you're over there posting about this while I'm over here eating my cookies on the couch and stuff like that. And I said, but when you're ready, who are you going to think of? And she's like, okay, you're right. I probably would contact you because I do see you and I know that you're doing it. And I want someone who's also, people want a coach who is showing up. And so they're going to say, hey, that person's reliable. I want to be with them because I know they're going to show up for me or they're going to check in with me. Okay. So with that, then I try to schedule a one-on-one call, and that usually happens within the first week. Sometimes it's the first 2 weeks. It might be a one-on-one call. It might be we meet up in person. It might just be we talk on the phone. Sometimes it's a Zoom call. So it doesn't really matter how it is, but I definitely think you need to get face-to-face or at least hear each other's voice within that first week. I only schedule if they ask for it or if they filled out that questionnaire. So that would be showing me I took a little action. So I'm like, okay, I'll reach out to you and see if you're ready to do your call to maybe talk about your coming out post. But the first thing I do is I try to build a relationship with them. So this is really important. And I think this is something that is a cool way and something I just kind of started within the last couple of weeks. What I've been trying to do is whenever they are talking about their life or talking about kind of their fitness journey, like where they were, what are some things they've struggled with, what are, where have they come? I try to take notes. And the reason is that I want to take a picture of the notes I made. And I want to then talk about, this is a posting idea. You see how you talked about, and like for me, it would have been like, you see how you talked about how you just felt so exhausted every single day and you felt like you needed a nap every single day? That's a post. And so I'll take a picture of those notes and I'll send it to them and I'll be like, these are all great post ideas. Don't post it all at once. Don't make it one post. Break these up into each day, post about something different that we talked about and how that is changing to today. And so right there, I'm getting to know them. I have notes on them so I can reference back to them, but also I'm helping them come up with ideas of what they're going to post about, because that's kind of the one thing that's so scary for new coaches is, okay, that's cool. You want me to start posting, but what in the world do I even say? And they have their own words because you are writing their own words for them. Okay, I definitely compliment any coaching actions they've already taken. So if they've done their coming out post, I'm like, oh my goodness, it was so awesome. I saw that you had 5 women, commenting on it. If they filled out the questionnaire, I compliment them. If they, thanked people for welcoming them to our team, I talk about, oh my goodness, that was such a great, a good coach checks into our team page and stays up with our team page. So thank you so much for just appreciating the time that our coaches on our team took to thank you or to welcome you into our team. So I try to find at least something that I can compliment of what actions have they taken. And it might be that they started a fitness program and they started checking in with the challenge group. But whatever actions that a coach does that you can compliment, definitely let them know that they are already doing the actions that they need to be doing. Then I kind of quiet up and I let them ask any questions that they have so far. And this usually takes a little bit of time, especially my coaches who are eager and have started working already. They always have tons of questions. And then we create a game plan together. So we set goals, because I remember as a new coach, I was like, I don't know, I just want to help somebody. I didn't know how to set goals. And so we talk about, do you want to earn back the investment of your challenge pack? Are you interested in going to our coach summit next summer? Do you want to earn some income in your first month? So do you want to earn your investment and some income? And based on that, I can kind of talk about, okay, you need to help so many women, and you're going to do this by doing those 4 actions that I sent you in that email. So it always goes back to those four actions we talked about. Okay, and then I'm not great about this, but I do try to get them to do some action and then schedule another call when they have something done. So it might be, hey, when you've posted for 7 days, why don't you let me know and let's schedule our next call together and we'll kind of check in to see how it's going. Or, when you have, if I see they're kind of dragging their feet on their coming out post, I'll be like, when you schedule your coming out post, let's schedule another, 20-minute chat and we can kind of talk about what are some next things that you can be doing. But I want the responsibility to be on them to schedule the call and not necessarily me checking in on them constantly. So action, let's schedule a call when you've done that action. Okay, then I am like on the search to make sure that they are doing those things. And I want to recognize every action that they take. So if they do their coming out post, I am trying to send them a message, or I'm posting in our team page that so-and-so did their coming out post. Like, way to go. That's a scary thing. If they do any kind of like a quality post, vulnerable, something that added value, I want to recognize them and send them a message and be like, that was a really great post. That really touched me. Or, I learned something from you. If they're asking questions. So if they're sending me messages, and every time a coach sends me messages, they're always like, I'm so sorry, but I have questions. And I always say back, my best coaches ask lots of questions. This is totally acceptable. Like, this tells me you're working. So I always compliment them on asking questions. If they have their first challenge pack sale, if they get someone hooked up with Clean Week, Beachbody On Demand, if they have Success Club points, whatever it might be, and then trying to send like a personalized note within that first month, just thanking them for joining you, how you're excited to have them on your team, whatever it might be, to just make them feel a part of it. Because right now they feel like an outsider, and we have this tribe going on, and they don't quite feel a part of it just yet. And so you want to do whatever you can to make them feel included in it. Okay, last thing I want to talk about, and then I'll kind of open it up to questions or comments, or is there something that you do that's kind of working? But trying to do success pods, they aren't always super successful, but I think they could be more successful. So I don't usually have more than 3 or 4 new coaches. I try to get coaches that I see are taking action, because if you have one coach that's kind of not ever responding and not really doing anything, that does maybe hinder the other girls from having that conversation going. So I try to initiate the actions that they should take. So if it's like brand new and they haven't quite done their coming out post, maybe it's, hey, have you reached out to anybody? Hey, have you done follow-ups yet? This week we need to be posting our promotions for our next challenge group. So it's kind of that, whatever I'm doing, I probably need to be telling my new coaches to be doing, because they don't have that yet set in their monthly schedules. It's a great place for showing recognition. We can all go show love to a great post. Always just going in there and just saying, is there anything that I can help you guys with? Is there a conversation that you're a little stuck on? But we focus in those success pods on posting on social media, having meaningful conversations, and then talking about their successes and struggles. Because I find when one coach has a struggle, the other ones probably also have that struggle, and they don't feel so weird or so like, what is wrong with me? It's kind of like, oh, this is normal. This is what new coaches go through. I have other people that I can relate to, and they can relate to me. And so I'm not alone in the struggle, I guess is the best way to put that. So I'm going to grab a drink. If anybody has any questions, I went through that super quickly. You're welcome to put yourself off mute if you have questions. Or comments. Doesn't have to be questions.
Okay, I'll go.
Yay, Lisa!
Okay. Hi. Okay, so I'm still very new. And so I have actually talked with at least one of my new coaches about us kind of teaming up. And so, whenever she gets started, and she's like wanting to hit the ground running, And so and from the get-go, she's somebody who I've been like talking to from the moment that I signed up as a coach. I've been like, hey, I really think that you would like this. You should do this with me, whatever. And so it's been a couple of months. And so, but she did join me. And so she's kind of ready to get the ball rolling. She's watched, I think, most of the training videos and things. But so as far as the success pods, that's kind of where I'm going with this is, I've kind of thought about, even though I've got a couple months under my belt versus some of my newer coaches that are coming on, would that be appropriate for us to be in a success pod together? Or is that just something that I orchestrate and put other people in success pods? If that makes sense. Because obviously, me being their coach, I'm going to be working with them a lot anyways. But as far as, I guess, future down the road as my team grows, is it appropriate for me to be an active member in each of those success pods, or should I split it off and me be more apart? I don't know. I think I was all over the place with that. So
I think right now, I love the idea of like you being a part of it and you being like, hey, we're kind of figuring this out together, even though I feel like you've got a majority of it kind of figured out already, but you are like they're on chapter 1, you're on chapter 2 or chapter 3, if that makes sense. So it's like, okay, I don't have all the answers, but we're going to kind of figure this out together. So I would put, the new coaches that you have, I would fill it up until you get 3 or 4. And then once you start getting into a role, and you'll get to a role where you have enough for like maybe each month you have a success pod, and it may only be 2 coaches and you in it. But right now, like, I think it could be like, I'm doing this today. And that's kind of what it can be also. You don't have to always be that like mentor, you all need to do this. It can be like, I am doing this. Would it, like, have you guys gotten into that? Or, have you thought about that today or anything like that? So it could be just like, oh my goodness, just posted a kind of a more vulnerable post about something I read in personal development today. Like, have you guys read any personal development, or are you reading a good book? So it can be just more of a conversation rather than like, I'm telling you what to do. I think, is that what you're asking?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And just part of that too, because being in the success pod, in my mind, I'm just trying to figure out if I'm in that, how I separate that, or if I need to separate that. Obviously, again, this is all still very new. So, but yeah, at least one of mine has been very much of wanting like, let's do this together. Like, I don't necessarily want to do my own, but, and which would be fine because my challenge groups are not humongous to the point where it's not something that we could both just be kind of feeding into and be working together. That would work out really well, even with 2 of my new coaches, so, so I guess that was just kind of my thought of, okay, so if we're already running challenges together and we're already doing that sort of thing together, then at least for right now, the success pods would probably be about the same thing. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I'm confusing myself. I'm sorry.
No, I love that idea. And I love that you're already thinking like, hey, we're probably going to do, at least for several months, we're going to kind of run this business together. And there's several, I think I was at Summit maybe 2 years ago, and there was like top notch coaches that weren't even on the same team, but basically run their businesses completely together. And they do their like coach trainings together, and they run their accountability groups together. And so you can do this however you want to do it. And that's kind of the cool thing. So if you like that, the only thing that would make me nervous about that, if you feel like if you feel like it's not necessarily like you're not going at the same speed, I don't want you to like be held back. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So don't let that hold you back.
Right.
But I think
yes,
absolutely. Use it as we're going to do this together type thing. Okay. Good question. Good question.
Sure. Cool.
Thank you. Anything
I
else?
have a question. Somebody else talking? Okay. Okay. So I have a couple of coaches who I've been running accountability groups with for a little bit. They'll post. One time we did, every other, and they would be posting. So my question is there a point in time where you kind of let them fly, or kind of persuade them to go into their own accountability groups, or you just kind of, is that up to them?
I kind of let it be up to them, but I kind of boot some people out when they start hitting some decent number of Success Club points. And like Lisa kind of got the boot, but Lisa was ready to do it. Like, I don't know about you guys, like whenever I started coaching, I was like, Shauna, let me go. And she was like, I think you need to do one more with me. And now I know she just wanted me for my every other day post. No, I'm just joking. But I was excited and I wanted to, but they may not be excited if they're not consistently bringing in new people each month, because then they might be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to run this group and there's only going to be 3 people in this group. So I kind of do it as more of a numbers and are they ready to do it? But if they have the numbers and if I feel like they're ready to do it, I definitely have that conversation of, I think you're ready. And it's not you can't be with me, but it's like, you are showing me that you're at the level that you're ready to move on and do this on your own. But I want them to be consistently posting. I want them to be comfortable in their conversations. So I definitely have some requirements. If they are not, they haven't quite figured out how to post every day, they are definitely not going to be able to run an accountability group, probably, because they probably haven't quite figured out how to manage those 4 tasks that I wanted those new coaches to do. So it's kind of like when they get those things figured out, then it's kind of when they get the boot, I guess, if you will, in a nice way. It's exciting to do your own thing.
Yeah.
They're not under me and having to call it a fit tribe. They can call it whatever they want to call it.
Exactly. Okay. That makes sense.
So it's more of a feel thing than anything, I guess. Okay, any other questions? Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being on. Now you guys can go watch your This Is Us that you videotaped and all that stuff. Or videotaped. Listen to me. I'm like back in the 90s. Elena, stop laughing. We don't even have whatever. Yeah, I have them in the event, Courtney. I have the slides, but I can share that just, I don't know, on the team page. I'll tag you in it. There you go. But it is in the event for this. And I don't think those go away. I think they stay in there. Probably something that I need to put in our files though. So I'll look into doing that. So anyways, thank you guys so much for being on, and I will talk to y'all later. See ya.